Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be showing you a step-by-step process on how to generate a protected Excel sheet using ClosedXML package or a library. So without wasting much time, let's just dive into the solution. First, open any browser and search for the ClosedXML library. Once you hit enter, you will get a plenty of documentation on ClosedXML. But still I saw people having difficulties in using the ClosedXML for protected spreadsheets. Open the GitHub document. Here you will find certain codes and an option on how to install the package. So read out this documentation carefully and I'll be showing you how you can use a ClosedXML protected method to create a protected Excel sheet. What you need to do is you can just copy this install package console command, install package ClosedXML command, and you need to just paste this command into your package manager console. So first we will going to create a small project which has a simple HTML form. It's a ASP.NET Core web application. So I'll select the template ASP.NET Core web application from here and we'll create a project. So let's select the template, click on next. Now here you need to provide your project name. So I'm using a demo project, so I'm using a ClosedXML test application. Now the location you can select where you wanted to store your project. Next, the solution. You need to create a new solution, then click on next. And here you see it's a .NET 6.0 application. It's a core web application. The authentication type I'm selecting none, but you can select as per your requirement. And then click on create. So the Visual Studio got created your project. As you can see, this is your project. And these are like here you can run your application, and we have selected a template. So once you selected the template, this is a basic template created by the ASP.NET Core application. So what we need to do is we need to just remove this HTML and we'll add our own HTML form. The agenda behind this is we need to create a HTML form, and from that form we'll pull out the data and export that data into our Excel sheet, and then download that Excel sheet somewhere in our local folder. So let's go to the pages. Here you see the index.cshtml. Here we have all our HTML. The page which you were seeing right here is coming from the index.cshtml. You see the welcome written here in the header. So let's click on the index.cshtml, and here you see the header thing, the header class. We'll remove this whole code. See the header thing here, the welcome. This is what this is what it's showing on the screen. So we just remove this whole code and write our own code. So I'm creating a simple HTML form here. So let's create a div, and the div create a form, and this is a like post form, like we need to submit the form and we'll get the data. So it's ASP action should be a post action. Alright, now let's create a row, div, and give it a class here as row. Next I need two different columns, one for the name and one for the age. So I'll create one div with a class called MD6. So let's create a div here. Class is called MD6. And here we need to write our label. I'll give it a label as name, my first name or something. It's a basic form. I'll just write the name, write the age and submit that form. Next, create an input tag where we can write our name. Type should be text. Okay, so here we need to provide a name attribute because it's a Razor application, so we're going to bind our name attribute, like with the name attribute we're going to bind our view data to our action controller. You can give it a ID, it's not required here, but I'm giving a ID as my first name or my F name, something. Okay, let's just give a my first name or my name. Alright, now I'll copy the same thing and will paste it for the age. So what I do is I'm creating a class, again row, and I'll provide a button here, and that button should be a type of submit button. Okay, and provide a name as submit for the button. Submit. Okay, so the form is ready. What else is there? We need to provide a submit action, and on that submit I need to call some method which can grab the data from the view and store it in my controller. So I'm using ASP page handler, and the function name is submit my data. So this form got created. Now what else I need to do is I need to change the name. I will not put much CSS in it because we are not focusing on the CSS right now, but to make it a little correct, like it should look like a form, I'm just giving some inline CSS. We'll give a border for the form, so we'll get a form border on it. So I'll give it a style with a border 2 pixel solid and some padding around it. So let's create some padding around 5 em. And let's give a border here. Solid 2 pixel. Okay, so this form got generated. Alright, let's change the name to age, my first name to my age, and then ID also to my age. So with this name attribute, I'll be binding the data from this input text area to our controller method. So let's create a submit my data function into our CS class, into our class. So expand it. Here you can see this is our class here, and this class had already one method, onGet method. We need to create a onPost method. So let's create a onPost method here, and let's see what we have provided in onPost. The method name is submit my data. So I'll create a onPost. Now I'll give, instead of void, I'll use iActionResult, because after submitting I wanted to show the same template, like I wanted to show the same page. So I'll return the same page. If you wanted to redirect to any other page, if you have multiple pages, you can just redirect. Instead of return page, you can redirect and provide the path to the page. Here we need to provide our members, like public members. We need to initialize the data which we are trying to get it from the UI. So I need my first name and I need my age. So I'll copy it from the name attribute, my first name, and will bind this with the bind property. We have a bind property attribute here, so I use this first name and then get set. Use a getter and setter. Okay, the read only is not required here, it's not a read only string, so we need to actually read the data and write it, right? So we remove it, and here I will just copy and paste and make it as my age, get set. Now what else? We need to bind the property, so we'll provide the attribute at the top, and that should be the bind properties. Actually it's a bind property, not properties. So let's just correct, copy, paste. Okay, this is all set. So now what else? We need to pull the data from the UI. So I use the first name and assign my first name to the variable first name. So I use the first name equals to my first name, and my age equals to my age. So when we hit on submit, it calls this submit my data method and will get the first name in my first name variable and my age in my age variable, but we will be going to type it in the form. Okay, so this is done here. I put a breakpoint and we'll try to run this application. Let's just run it. I have a breakpoint here at line 27, so when I submit it, it should stop here and we'll see that are we getting the correct name or age in this variable. So here you see, this is the form we got created. I told you it's a normal form. I have not put any extra CSS. This submit button has a full width right now, because we are just seeing a closed XML functionality, not the CSS. So let's provide a name here, and yeah, the breakpoint is set. Wanted to confirm one more time. Okay, so we'll see like the data will coming here or not. So let's go back to the HTML. So I'll give my name Yogita and age is 33, and then I'll click on submit. On submit, it should stop there. Okay, you see it stopped here. When you hover it, I'll get the name Yogita in my first name, and in the second I got age 33 as I typed in the form in my age. Now this is the basic thing we have done. So now what else we need to do is, the functionality is using ClosedXML, and I wanted this data should be populated in my XML. So I'll create a data set called test, and then I create a data table, and then I'll add that data table into a data set. Why I am showing this way to you? So that if you wanted to generate a maximum or multiple spreadsheet into a workbook, you can create a multiple data table and you can add that data table to your data set and loop it through each data table in that data set and create an Excel sheet. So to use data set, we need to import system.data. As you can see, the error gone. So let's create a data table now. Create a data table, dt equals to new data table. Okay, so we have created data set and data table. Now I wanted to create a column, like a full table, the column and the rows. So I'll create a dt.columns .add, and what column is the name and the age. So I'll provide first as name, and second the type of is the string type column, the data type of that column. So type of is a string. Okay, let's just copy and paste the same for the age and change the name of the column should be age. Now I wanted to add the data to the row, so I'll add dt.rows.add. We'll provide the first as name, which is my first name. We are getting it from the form, so we already bind it with the bind property attribute. So we'll write the first name in my first column for the first column, and this for the second column is my age. So this is going to be only one single row with my first name and my age. Now we have created a data table, we have created a data set. Okay, what else we need to do is, the next step is to push that data table or add that data table into a data set. So let's just write a code, test.tables. .add, and our data table is dt. Alright, so we have done all basic steps. We need to import our ClosedXML library. So you can do it in two ways. Either you can go right click on the solution main root folder and click on manage NuGet package. Here in the browse you can type ClosedXML and search, and you will get the ClosedXML library. You can click on this and install this. Next, what you can do is you can install it how we have shown you in the starting from the package manager console. Here you will get the package manager console. So in the help, in the search bar, type package manager and you'll get the option to open the package manager console, and you can go to the document. You can copy this install package console from this document and paste it into your package manager here and hit enter. Once you hit enter, it will start downloading the package manager. It should start installing the package manager, and you see successfully installed. So once installed, you can go to the dependencies, click on packages, and you'll find ClosedXML version 0.96.0 got installed. So here I'm providing a small path where I actually wanted to store my Excel sheet. So I just removed it. I just copy pasted this code, like I've just in the C drive. I want the directory should be created with the name of ClosedXML sheet. So I provided this path, and now I'll just copy and paste the code from my previous application. So here what I'm doing is I'm checking if the path exists, like if C ClosedXML does not exist, it should create the directory with the same path. If it exists, then no, nothing. I'm not providing anything in the else part right now. So using this Excel workbook namespace, let me just show you how you can use this code. So you just open the browser, click for the protected XML code and search for the protected XML code, and you will get this option, sheet protection, and you will have a multiple code there. So I'm using nothing, I'm just copying the code from there, and I'll show you how you can use a protect method and provide your password to protect your sheet. So you see here in sheet protection, this is a GitHub documentation of ClosedXML. You see this ws.protect method.allow element. So allow element means if you wanted to allow anything, you wanted to insert column, delete rows, any formatting in the cell, any formatting in pivot, so you can use this protect method. But for the password, you need to provide a password as a string and as a in the parameter of protect method. So as you see, this protect method has a password 123, and then save your file with the file name with the save as method. So if I go to the Visual Studio, and here also you can see I'm using I'm looping this thing. First I'm checking for the path, then I'm using Excel workbook namespace, and then using this workbook method. So you are having this error, so you need to import this ClosedXML.Excel first. So I'm using ClosedXML.xl, so just click on it and you need to import it. Once you import it at the top, this error will gone. So now what else we are doing is we are looping out through the data set, each data table, and adding the worksheet into a workbook. Workbook is an object we have used from the Excel workbook class. You see that the method is like using Excel workbook VB WB equals to new Excel workbook. So and then looping through our test.data table. Test.data table is nothing but our data set, and then using this method like worksheet.add, adding the worksheet, and .add has like two parameters. First we need to provide a data table, and the next parameter is the sheet name. You can provide here as a string any sheet name if you wanted to write like sheet name 1, sheet name 2, so you can just give it in a string. I provided data table dot table name. Whatever the table name I'll get from the data set, I'll use it. Then I use the protect method here, and this protect method has provided two parameters here. The first parameter is the password in the string, and then the second one is the algorithm. The algorithm is nothing but what elements you wanted to allow or disallow is that you all need to provide it there. Let me just expand it and show you the summary. So you see the password should be anything, and then the next is the algorithm. So here I'm providing pass123 as my password, and next I'm disallowing the element, I'm disallowing everything. So if you check and hover here, instead of everything, you can see there are lots of other filters, like you can delete everything, you can disallow deleting method, inserting rows, depending on your requirement. I'm disallowing anything, like no changes, no formatting, nothing. Then I'm saving with the save as method that workbook with the name test file, and if I get any error, it should be catch in the catch column in the catch block. So the file name should be the test file with the timestamp.xlsx. So let's just everything is got generated. So let me run this application. So I have not provided any alert message like where the application should save, so you will not get any alert box, but you after submitting the data you can provide an alert message that, and with the path, provide the path that where the file got saved actually. So provide the name, provide the age, click on submit. Okay, so I submitted the data. Let's go to the C drive, and in the C drive you find the folder ClosedXML sheet. Open this folder. And you see the test file which we have provided in the code, test file.filestem.xlsx. Let's open it up. So now the file got generated, and you see my first column is name, second is age, how I created the data table. If I try to modify this, I get this alert. The cell or chart you are trying to change is a protected sheet. To make the change and protect the sheet, you might need to request to enter a password. Now click OK. To manipulate any changes or edit the sheet, click on review. Here click on unprotect sheet, and now you get the option to provide the password. You remember I provided the password as pass123, so write it down, click OK. Now you can see I can easily edit the columns, expand the cell, I can remove the data from the cell, I can add the data to the cell, I can manipulate the data. So this is how you can use XML to protect your sheet. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any query or any question, please write it down in the comment below.